Welcome to a new episode of Talking About Rules, a Badminton Panam Technical Officials Conference. Today's guest, Yves Cote, a BWF referee and Badminton Panam referee assessor.
Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Thanks for being with us here, all of you, our group of technical officials. On behalf of Badminton Command, it's a pleasure to begin working with these activities addressed to technical officials. We began last week with umpires. Now this week we are covering referees. And for this, we have the excellent collaboration of Yves Cote, who is a BWF certificated referee, and also our assessor, assisting us in the processes, and also a good friend of all of us. No, I'm very happy to have you here. I'm very happy that we are doing this activity also with our technical officials. As you may know, we have been going through our community. We have been doing some activity with coaches at distance. We are beginning this week with players, and now with technical officials. So we are trying to cover all the groups of the community to be close with us and be alert that we are also interested in having you close to us in these difficult times. Okay, thanks for being here. Thanks, Ricardo, for organizing the activity. And Yves, thanks very much for being the presenter today. I appreciate your help, and I hope everybody will benefit on this. And the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. Welcome to everybody. Team managers meeting is something that is extremely important. A lot of things will be decided. A lot of things will be shared at this meeting, and it is very important. In some cases, this is the first time you will see some new faces, some new coaches, some new managers. And it is extremely important that you leave a very good impression on the people. So next. So you put your second slide. Before you leave home, it's very important, okay, before you leave, that you have to be ready. I remember a BWF referee who told me it's very important that your PowerPoint presentation is ready, but act it out. Pretend that you are in the meeting. So before you leave home, like I said, discuss with local organizers. This is when we need to have everything. Ask for the equipment, projector, computers, extension cords. Will there be tables? Will there be chairs? How big is the room? The worst thing that you can do is be in a room that is too small. And you don't want to have a room that is so big that, you know, there's 10 people in the room. So it's very important. And those are details, but it is very important. Discuss with the deputy referee. And what I mean by that is, okay, I will take care of the team managers meeting. I want you to take care of officials, technical officials presentation. I don't know if it will take place, but I am scheduled for the World Junior Championships in New Zealand in October. I know who my two deputies are. Well, I have already talked to them. One of them will be doing the technical officials meeting. I will be doing the big team managers meeting. The other one will do every single day the practice schedule. Okay, so I had the chance to discuss with the two of them when I was in a meeting in Kuala Lumpur in February. But again, even though the tournament is only in 7-8 months, it is possible for me to do it. Then I discuss with my deputy referees. Your PowerPoint presentation has to be ready about 90%. And what I mean by that, there will be a few details that will have to be added. Example, will they supply you with a phone? If the organizing committee supply you with a phone, then you enter that phone number into the PowerPoint presentation. You do not know at what room you will be in the hotel. There it is. Very often, a local deputy referee is appointed at the last minute. Like they may have 2 or 3 to choose from, and oh, it's your turn, Johnny. So then the name has to be added. The point behind all this is that you have to be ready. Absolutely no question, ready. Send a copy to the deputy and to local organizers. Why am I doing this? Well, to the deputy, it's very important that the deputy is aware of everything that you do. And also, I ask, can you please correct any language issues? And to the local organizers, I send and I said, please confirm. If anything has to be added, please add in a different color so I can see. And last thing before you leave home, make sure that you have all your material. If you have a temperature gauge and for humidity and this gizmo, make sure that the batteries are working. If you have a timer, make sure the batteries are working. Make sure that everything you will need for your meeting, you have it. Okay. I once did a tournament in the Netherlands, and I did not have the power cord for my computer. It was lost somewhere, never found it back. Fortunately, the deputy and I had the exact same computer. So, but even though I'm a very experienced official, I check my stuff all the time. And please do not check the day before. Check a few days before. Don't check while you arrive at the airport or you're going to be too late. Next. Upon arrival, check the meeting room and ensure you have all the equipment needed. I mentioned this before. Table, chair, microphone, projector, extension cord, chairs for coaches, and so on. If you need to have paper, if you need a printer, everything has to be in this room. There's a possibility that we do some promotion because some players are not coming for whatever reason. Well, will the person in charge of the draw be there? You have to make sure, you know. So that's why I said that. Check with local organizers and deputy for additions or deletes from the PowerPoint. It will happen that from the time you leave your house and when you arrive into the city where the tournament is played, there might be a few cancellations. So it is very important. I once did the tournament in Mexico where about half of the players did not show up because we had 4 earthquakes during that week in Mexico, in Aguascalientes. So, you know, that's why I'm saying that. We have to check everything. So, next. Oh, for the meeting. I hope you're going to do that before the meeting. Get appropriately dressed. Okay? It has to look sharp. It has to look clean. Shirts, the shirt must be inside your pants, your skirt for the ladies. Shoes nicely done. I wrote no perfume. The reason for that is that there are people who are allergic to. I'm one of them. So if I stand too close to somebody who wears perfume, my breathing will suffer extremely from that. So it is very important that you understand that. Review, and I mentioned, review your PowerPoint presentation and act it out if necessary. If nervous, take long, deep breathing. The reason why I'm saying this is all my life, I was a school teacher and a school principal. So for me, it is not hard at all to be in front of a group, in front of a small group, in front of a large group. It is no big deal. Some of you may not be familiar with this. This is why I'm saying that. Act it out. Okay, so it's very important because remember the impression. If you leave a good impression with the coaches, with the team managers, you will put them on your side for the whole tournament. If the impression is not that good, then you may be looking for trouble. I hope not. But like I said, important. Give a good impression. You arrive in the meeting room, coaches, managers are coming in. You are by the door. You see coaches that you already know, shake their hand or wave at them. I know that with this pandemic, we might not be able to shake hands, but at least recognize that they are there. You know, I have always done that. So it is important. I meet my friend from Guatemala, Chema. I go and shake his hand. How are you? And we discuss. Well, okay, good. During the tournament, because we have a very good interaction, this guy will not come and scream at me. He will respect me. I will respect him. Why? Because we have established a very good relation. So that's why I'm saying that. Put people on your side. Next slide. Before the meeting, continue, meet with local organizers and coaches, managers, as I say, socialize with them, ask them personal question. You know, the coach from the United States, Mr. Chu, I've known him for many years, you know, and every time I see him outside of his club, so how's everything at the club? How are the kids doing? So, you know, then you give a very good impression. The last part that you have to do before you start the meeting is confirm the list of teams and managers and spokesperson. The reason why I'm saying that, example, I was at the Japan Open last year, so a lot of coaches there, but we want to know who is speaking for China, who will be speaking for Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia. I'm using them as an example because they have many coaches and team managers. So that's why I'm saying that, who will be talking for, because it's not everybody that will be, not all 8 or 10 of them. It's gonna have to be one of them. It's also important to mention, as we start the meeting, and we said to the coaches and team managers, make sure that you fill the form. Make sure that your names are written and the phone where we can reach you and the hotel where you're staying if you're not in the main hotel. Next. Meeting start. See what I have? Start on time. I'm sorry for today if the meeting did not start exactly at 7 o'clock. It is my fault. I'll be very happy when I have a new computer. And I ordered it a few months ago. And this one is causing me all sorts of trouble right now. Anyway, important, start the meeting on time. And you say to the people, ladies and gentlemen, it is 5 o'clock. Meeting is starting. Very important. Introduce everybody that is at the main table. My name is Yves Côté. I'll be the head referee for this tournament. To my left is this one and that one. To my right is this one and that one. Then make sure that local organizers and or sponsor say a word to the people to welcome everybody. I've done that a few times with the Pan Am, and I make sure to ask whoever was there from Pan Am, Pilar as an example, Herman, please say a word. We're in Mexico. We ask Javier. Javier, please. Okay, so it's very important. It is good public relation. Then start your PowerPoint presentation. What is the goal of this PowerPoint presentation? Is to say, this is what's going to happen. That's all. Speak at normal voice. Make sure everybody can hear you. I wrote, use microphone only if needed. If you're in a smaller room, you don't need the microphone, do not use it. I am fortunate, my voice has a higher, a very good tone, so I can very easily. You must understand, English is a foreign language to me. Like for most of you, English is probably a foreign language. But this is the language that we are using on the international scene. So very important. That's why I'm saying that. Practice your meeting, practice your presentation before you leave home. If you are in the same city in a tournament and you are not working at that tournament, and you know that the team managers meeting will be at that time, well, go and see another one working. Go and see another official doing the presentation. If you're fortunate and there is an assessor, there is somebody that is there to help you at the meeting, you know, then that person will take note. I've assessed a few of you, okay, and my goal is always the same. I want you to get better. So, next. What should be in the PowerPoint presentation? Basically, all this in the agenda. Welcome and introduction, very important. Talk about laws and regulations that are specific to this tournament. Example, Pan Am Juniors. The American coach 12 years ago in Guatemala came to me and said, yeah, but there are so many players, so we should have 8 seeds. And I said, sir, in the team managers meeting, it was said that for all Pan Am Junior tournaments, we have 4 seeds. It is a specific regulation to this tournament. And the manager said, oh, I'm sorry, I did not pick that up. I said, no problem. But you understand what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that if there are specific regulations for this specific tournament. Example, there is a team event. Well, in the round robin, do we play all 5 matches or all 7 or 9 matches? This has to be clearly stated. So there'll be no confusion. Next point, and I hope you'll have a few slides on that. Facility, the venue. Have a slide specific for this is the courts, this in on top of this is where the players can sit. Look at the way, this is the way we're walking in, this is the way we're walking out, and so on. Okay, so this is where the media is, this is where the cafeteria is, and so on. We talked a little bit about logistics. Well, bus transportation. What is the schedule? We're in Lima. We are at the center where the badminton is played. Well, when is the bus? It's very important that we have the bus transportation to and from the main hotels. Okay, will there be meals that are served there? Who's allowed to have this? So that's why I'm saying that it's very important that all this be in there. Miscellaneous, so all sorts of other things. Example, if there is to be a special presentation. Okay. I went to Indonesia in 2014 for the Indonesia Masters, and I was told before on the first day of the tournament that after the play has started, there will be the official opening. Around that time, why? Because the governor of the state of South Sumatra will be there. He is the main sponsor of the tournament. So, you know, all this, it's important that we have to have all this. A few years ago in Thailand, between the 3rd and 4th match of the final on the Sunday, the representative of the king of Thailand was there. So that was time that was set apart. So there was a little speech. So that's why I'm saying that all these things have to be entered, have to be mentioned. So nobody will come and say, oh, you did not mention that. Sorry, I did. Draws and schedule, you'll see later as it comes. And then a question period. You can also mention to the people, depending how confident you feel, you can say at the beginning, questions, just raise your hand, or wait till the end for the questions. It's up to you. Next. So we continue on the PowerPoint presentation. Make sure there are no spelling mistakes in PowerPoint presentation. Extremely important. Extremely important. Okay. I told you I was a school teacher, and if there is a spelling mistake, it will jump in my face. I will pick it up. Usually, when I work big tournaments, if I'm one of the deputies, it is sent to me and I make the corrections right away. So make sure all the information is correct. Well, it's extremely important. You know, the draw, the close date for the draw was that day. Because in some tournaments, example, at the Masters level, in some tournaments, but especially at the Masters, the dates are important because you can be in a different age group depending if your birthday is before or after. Most of the time, the age is as of the very first day of the tournament. It's important also that that the seedings are right and that the names are properly entered. You know, now, example of the one thing you have to understand about seeding is this: as the referee, you have absolutely nothing to say about seedings. This is done by the seeding committee and or by ranking points based on BWF or Pan Am rankings. So now, I'm sorry, but if we have a Pan Am tournament and I see a guy like Lee Chong-wei entered, and he's not one of the seeds when I look at the whole thing, before anything else, I will ask questions. And I'm just using him as an example to tell you that, look, obviously there was a mistake somewhere, okay? But you have to be able to see that before. Now, if Alex Lopez is seeded 5 rather than 6, not really important, because that doesn't make a difference. Now, if Alex Lopez should be seeded first and he's not seeded, then you must ask questions. And this is done way before. This is done when you receive the list of all the entries. This is done when you receive the seeding from the entries. And you have to pay super attention to this, okay? Last thing on this part, the competition schedule. It's very important. And you're gonna say, well, sorry, I'm at 8. Good, next one. Why am I saying about the competition schedule? Well, everybody has to know that on the very first day, as there are qualifications, we start at this time. We start at 9 on the Tuesday. Qualification should take us from 9 till about 1. And you said, well, it's about 1 o'clock. And then the second session will start, the main draw will start at that time, 3 o'clock as an example. So during the meeting, always say, clearly say what your expectations are for the tournament. Example, and especially if there are new rules, new regulations, and if you see that there are many new coaches and managers. At the Pan Am Juniors, we must repeat often. Why? Because for some teams, there are new coaches all the time. When the new regulation came up that you cannot test your new racket that you're bringing in play because you broke the strings on your other one, you know, well, I was doing that year in 2018, the very first tournament of the BWF that was in Thailand, and I had a slide especially for that. I had the player hitting his hand on his racket. I had one of my player, we took the picture, and I just say, remember, this is a brand new rule. You are not allowed anymore. There was a new rule also on January 1st that you cannot bring any of your equipment on the podium for prize presentation. I had another slide for this. another of my player that had her bag on her back and then, you know, a racket in her hand. And I said, you can't have this. Remember, this is new rule. Again, I'm saying this, so it is important that you state everything ahead of time. Adapt your level of language to the level of tournament. And I wrote as an example, World Championships is way different from Pan Am Juniors. And the reason is that at the World Championships, all the coaches that are there have been around the blocks many times. Whereas the Pan Am Juniors, you may have coaches, many coaches, that this is the very first time they're there. So I will not talk the same way. My level of language will change depending of the of who I have there. Mention about continuous play. There has been very big improvement upon this, but it's very important to remind the players, you are here to play, so play. Stop wasting your time. Umpires have been instructed to enforce this. So if you mention that at the beginning of the tournament and there's a player that goes around, and the umpire gives a warning, friendly, and or a yellow, and or a red card, the coach cannot come and say, oh, rah, you didn't. Sorry, we mentioned. So, next, important to talk about integrity in sport. The referee can stop a match. The referee can disqualify the players if the referee thinks that the players, he or she is not working hard enough. So it is very important. Remind the players also that they're not allowed to bid. 2 players from Malaysia were suspended. One got a lifetime suspension from BWF. He was betting on his own games. Important also that you talk about player clothing. I remember a tournament in, if I recall, it was Puerto Vallarta, where we had something like 500 players clothing violation. So this should be known well ahead of time. But as this is constantly changing, make sure that you mention it again. Now there's something new, coaches clothing, because we want to make sure that the game looks very, very good. So if we want a good presentation, it's very important that the coaches sitting in the chair are appropriately dressed. Order of play, very important. Mention, this is the way we will play it. In the first 2 or 3 days, example, this is what we're going to play. We're going to play the mixed doubles first, followed by. We know that some of you are playing 2 and 3 events. We will try to accommodate as much as possible. And just say, the requirement by BWF is 30 minutes. Well, we did this, and we can tell you that the minimum between the beginning scheduled of 2 matches is 120 minutes. You take the time to say that, coaches will be very happy. Okay, again, court layout. mention, because sometimes you have TV. If you do not have any TV, courts can be 1, 2, 3, 4, one beside each other. If you have TV, then you may have court 3, 2, 1, and 4. That's just the way they are done. Okay. Important also, I mentioned facilities. It's very important that you say what is where. Bathrooms are located there. Doping testing is always a possibility. You must mention this. It is, you know ahead of time that there will be no testing. You're aware of this. But at the last minute, there was a change. Okay, so it's better to say there is a possibility that doping control will be done at this tournament. If you say that, you're protected. You're covering yourself. If you do not mention, and there is a test, I will wish you good luck. Okay, because you're not going to get out of this. So that's why I'm saying that. Very important. Just mention it. There is a possibility that there will be a doping control test done at this tournament. Players should be aware of it. Next. Injury. What is expected from coaches, managers, and so on. Okay, so it's very important that you say to the people, look, if there's an injury, coaches, stay on your chair, managers, stay on your chair until the referee or the deputy call you on court. You must also say, this is where the doctors or the physiotherapists, the massage therapists, and so on, this is where they are located. If we play where there's 8 courts as an example, and you know, and I have just one doctor, I will make sure that that doctor is placed in a very strategic place to access all 8 courts at any time. If I have 2 doctors, well, then, you know, I will split them. Remember, in all this, it's common sense. Mention also that if a player is injured, the decision of playing or retiring belongs to the player. The doctor will make a recommendation. You see the leg is broken. It's definitely broken. The player said, no, I want to continue. Well, we do not have the power to stop the match. It's the player's decision. So it's very important because they don't all know this. Next. Okay. We're advancing very well into the PowerPoint presentation, team managers meeting. There is a section, and this is the most awaited section, the withdrawals and promotion. 1 page, more if needed, per event. So, and in the following order: men's singles, women's singles, men's doubles, women's doubles, mixed doubles. Next. Okay. We're in the meeting. The tournament has not started yet. Once you start the withdrawals and promotions, you must mention here, you name all the withdrawals you have received yourself, the referee, before you left your place, yourself, the referee, when you check your email when you arrived, and also yourself, the referee, with the organizer to see if they have received while you were traveling. So you must check with organizers upon your arrival if there are more received during your traveling. You name them all and it's done that way. Men's singles. Here are the withdrawals that we now have. And you mention, you will see on the next slide, I have an example. Then you ask, to your knowledge, are there more? You ask twice. To your knowledge, are there more? No more? Okay. Then I wrote complete one event before starting the next one. Why? Because, example, where was this tournament? Oh yeah, in that was in that was in Thailand. So men singles withdrawals and promotion, men singles, men with Jorgensen. Okay, he was M5 in the main draw. He was the only one in the main draw that was withdrawal. There was 3 from the qualifiers. Okay, Arshel, Daniel, and Sapura, and they were Q1, Q11, and Q14. Okay, so who is promoted to the main draw? The one promoted to the main draw right away is Pham Kwao Kong. Why? Because he was the first qualifier. Where is he promoted? I do not know. The reason is that I have to bring more people into the qualifying round. So then I was in that tournament, I had a reserve list also. So promotion to qualifying draw. So the 4 people that their names are there, and if you notice their name, their BWF number, their country. These 4 were promoted into the qualifying. Why? Because I have 4 spots needed in the qualifying. I have the spot Q3, Q1, Q14, and Q1. And how are they promoted? On one end, cards with the player's name. On the other end, cards with the position that they will go to. And we do what we call a double draw, which is at the same time, you ask one person, please pick up a card from each pack. And then they will say, example, Elias in Q14. So, and this is where we put this person. And of course, the draw is already done to include the winners of the 4 qualifying spots. The winner of the qualifying spots already placed in the main draw. So this is an example. Next slide. Again, woman singles. Okay, and you repeat the same process. The last time I did this was last fall at the French Open. Okay, and I just went one after the other. The supervisor was there. He said, wow, you did this like a champion. I said, thank you, sir. I practiced. He said, you're kidding. I said, no, I practice. So I took from other draws, and I do it in front of the mirror. I'm seeing if I'm doing it right. So therefore, I cannot go wrong. And that, again, that tournament was for the Thailand Masters in 2018. So 3 women singles. How many promoted to the main draw? 2. Okay, which one? To replace M15 and M32. Then from the reserve to the qualifying, the 3 that are there. Okay, next slide. After the women's singles is done, then we do men's doubles. Same process. Exactly the same process. Now, next one, women's doubles. I should be on slide, which slide? 21. No, sorry. I'm not on slide 21. I'm on slide 17, sorry. Yes. So that was the example, women's doubles. Here are the people who have withdrawn. And again, always ask the questions. As you can see, we were in Thailand, and there are names that I cannot pronounce. Not Chapafa, Shatuporn Kanchana. Oof. Okay. So do the best you can. So women's double, same thing. Next slide. Mixed doubles. Okay. You see the way it is? Promotion from the main to the main draw from the qualifying. There was 5 withdrawals, therefore they have to be replaced. Sometimes we cannot replace them. Why? Because we just have 4 qualifiers and we have 6 that withdrew. Well, there'll be some open spots. That's just the way it is. When you're doing this, make sure that you explain to people what you are doing all the time. This is done that way. Any questions? And take the time to ask any questions. No, after everybody is properly placed in the draw based on the draw that we are doing, mention it once, twice if need be. This player is now in this position. This pair is now in M14. This pair is now in M27. Make sure that it's properly placed. Okay. Next. And again, that was the second part, you know, of the mixed doubles. Why? Because I had so many. Now I have to take from my reserve list to put them into my qualifying draw. After this is done, question period. Ask them any questions. They ask their questions. You answer to the best of your abilities. If you cannot answer a question right away, check with your deputy. Maybe the deputy has the answer. If not, maybe the local organizer has the answer. Once the questions are answered, then conclusion. Okay. Wish everybody good luck in the tournament. I'll tell them to feel free to come to you if they have any questions during the tournament. Thank people for attending the meeting. Mention again starting time for the next day. Any questions?
First question, in terms of withdrawals, what proof will you require for you to accept regarding what withdrawals? So for example, Yves, if I receive a WhatsApp message to say someone is withdrawing, do you accept that? What's the guidelines?
Okay, sorry. I will double check. And here's what I mean. I receive from the Jamaican team, as an example, a withdrawn from Trevor McCain, about Trevor McCain, and I confirm this. You remember I mentioned at the beginning of the withdrawals, you name everybody you have received. And I said, this is the list of those that I have received. You agree with this? Then the Jamaican coach said, I'm sorry, Trevor is playing. Oh, scratch out of my list. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
That you double check all the time. I mean, if you received an email from the Jamaican Badminton Association saying Trevor is withdrawing, then that's just the way it is. You take it as is. But if there's a message on Facebook saying that there is a possibility that Trevor might not be able to play because he cut his pinky nail on his left hand too short, I would double check with the team manager, team coaches all the time.
Okay. My other question, last one, in terms of redraw. Now, there are two reasons for redraw. One, if it's severely unbalanced.
Yeah.
Let's skip that. The other one, if there was a mistake by the persons doing the draw. So my question is, if, for example, the draw was published, if, for example, the referee, which would be me, didn't notice a mistake. No, let's not speak about notice. Let's say there was a mistake in the entry. I wouldn't have known about it. The draw was published on Friday the 1st. I noticed the mistake on Saturday the 2nd. When is that redraw done? Is it done at the manager's meeting, or is it done immediately and republished?
That's a very good question. And both answers are good. And I explained myself. At the Pan Am Juniors a few years ago, I was working with Ricardo on this one. When after the draw is made, we realized that in men's doubles under 15, let's say, a team was forgotten. Okay, so no, like when putting all the names in, when entering in the computer, we have received the list from that was Barbados. We have received the list of players, and we're looking at, oh, look at that, we missed that team completely. So here's what we did. Very simple. Send a note. When the draw was made, a team was forgotten. This is the organizing committee, because it has nothing to do with the players or the team. Okay, it's the organizing committee. It's the referees. Mistake. So this is what we said, and we proceed to a withdrawal, to a redraw. Sorry. So we have done the redraw right away. Why? That was done then. If we had time to do it, if we would not, Trevor, have time because nobody noticed it, but at the team managers meeting, then we withdraw the team managers meeting. We redraw, I mean, at the team managers meeting.
One question from Fernanda Alvarez. Most times, team manager is not very certain about the player retired from one event will result from removal from all other events. Please address how this situation is usually handled.
My answer is very simple. The team manager is the one that has to be aware of this. It is not my role, my duty as a referee to look for all the players. So if you're not sure, you leave the players in. If they don't show up, they don't show up, and then sanction, penalties, whatever, will come in due time.
Hi, Yves. My question.
Go ahead.
What is the time that you recommend to perform a team managers meeting?
The day before the tournament start, of course, and usually we do it in the afternoon. We do it in the afternoon, like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. There is no specific time that is set, but in the prospectus, we write in the prospectus, as soon as it comes out, it should be written in there, the time, and everybody understand that it lasts about an hour, and because right after we have the officials, the technical officials meeting. So, and if everything, I mean, I have very seldom seen team managers meeting that are more than 1 hour. There had to be major issues with the withdrawals and everything. But like I said, it depends also. You have to check where you are. The reason why I'm saying this is that there may be some religious practice in the country where you are. Example, okay, I'll just use this one. In Malaysia, we never play on Friday morning because this is prayer time for the Muslims. So we have to take this in consideration. So that's why I'm saying this. What time do you place it? Sometimes you may, because there may be something specific coming, then rather than being 5 o'clock, it may be at 4 or at 3. So that's why I'm saying that. But it should be clearly stated in the prospectus.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Hi, I don't remember what the question, but yes, I listen me.
Yes, it's about of a team manager or coach that doesn't speak another different language.
But for example, here in South America, if, for example, have 10 coach, one only speaking English and the other speaking Spanish. What happened? What is the language? What is the situation in this case?
Comprendito.
Muy bien, entonces en español.
Yes. Technically speaking, as if this is an international tournament, English is the language. Technically speaking, okay. Now, if everybody, because Pan Am is a little bit different. If everybody understands and it's easier, then I would say try it in Spanish. Okay, and it depends of the it depends of the level of the tournament. My first rule is that I will do it in English all the time. I was at the French Open, and French is my first language. At the French Open, everything is done in English. Same thing if I'm in Malaysia, same thing I was in China, for crying out loud. Everything is done in English.
Okay.
But I understand that in South America, if this is the South American Championships and everybody is Spanish speaking, well, do not ask yourself too many questions.
Yeah, okay, but here in
Do
South
it in
America,
Espanol.
I'm Brazilian people to speak in Portuguese.
Mhm.
Well,
But
one question more, teacher. In this situation, the player called to the doctor recommended don't continue to the play, but your level the oxygen in the blood is very, very low. And the player say, I continued. But doctor say, it's very danger to be continued the player. And the player say, I be continued. What happened? The doctor is say, well, it's very important this case. Don't be continued. And the player say this. I asked him in this situation, I asked him about the coach, and the coach say, I don't know. What happened? What do you do?
This is the player's decision, Daniel. Even if the doctor says, look, it is dangerous for your life. You will injure yourself more. I had a player in Malaysia in 2016, a girl in the qualifying draw, she rolled her ankle. She had a 2nd-degree tear. They taped her ankle and she continued to play. Wow. Wow. And the doctor, I had 2 doctors who were there and they're talking to the little girl, said, look, I have never seen an ankle that big. The girl said, no, I will finish the match on one leg if I have to. And that's what she did. She was just on one leg. And after the match was done, then they took her to the doctors and she had to go for surgery. Nothing you can do, Daniel. Doctor makes a recommendation.
But the decision is on the player.
The decision is always on the players.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
Does Pan Am Juniors have any different rules around that? I know US Juniors does, where if it's a minor, the doctor can make the decision.
Again, Ian, if it is said in the prospectus, if it is said at the team managers meeting, everything can be done. If it is specifically said in the team managers meeting and in the prospectus that the doctors have the final say with regards of injuries, well, you can be sure that this will be 1 or 2 or more pages in my PowerPoint presentation. Okay, the point here, I understand exactly what you're saying. The point is, say everything ahead of time. Say everything in the team managers meeting. If it's written in the prospectus, even better. Nobody then can come and say, oh, you didn't tell us. especially on a point like this one. I'm the referee for this tournament. Believe me, as soon as I get the prospectus, I will have a look, I read this, and right away I will be emailing or on the phone, and I will say, what in the world is this? You understand why I'm saying that? Is because it's against everything that we have seen so far. So I will ask, and I will say, are you sure that this is what you want to do? Well, can we please check with BWF if we can do this? Make sure everything is clear to everybody. Then once it is said and understood and repeated, we go the way. You understand, Ian?
Yes, thank you.
No, you're welcome. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Fernanda. You cannot change anything after it started. I was going to, most time team managers not very certain about play. Okay, so we have talked about this. What is the time you recommend this is done? General suggestion about preparing before leaving. This is about taking electric adapter for electric cord. Yeah, but maybe not in South America, but outside. Yeah, okay. Make sure that to take one if you do, if you need one. Many years ago, Taipei women's single was severely cramping. She kept playing. Eventually, one umpire cannot force player. Yes, cannot change rules. You're right. Umpire cannot force. Doctors cannot force. It's the player. Cannot change rules after start. This is the key point. You're absolutely right. Okay. Are there more? Oh. No, that's what I see.
Just talking about the injuries. So in some cases here in Panam, in the international tournaments, not too many players, sorry, but some players try to make slow the match, and then start to calling the doctor, and then also they experimenting cramps, and then is cramp considered as an injury, or this is straight as another?
Yeah, no, it's treated. But this is what I do. I will go once. And the doctor comes with me as an example, and they can use the spray as an example. Okay, and I say it there. This is the only time you will have spray. And I make sure that the player understand what I am saying. Okay, look, are you retiring? No, then play. Play must be continuous.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing. Now, as a referee now, I do not need to be invited onto the court. Many years ago, we needed to be invited by the umpire. Not anymore. So I can go onto the court. And if I don't like, I'm going to say something.
Okay.
If my umpire is making a mistake on the laws, I can go. And then, if I am close to the court, then the players will realize very fast that, okay, I play or I quit.
Yves, thanks very much for your time and your patience going through the team manager meeting PowerPoint. It was very helpful for everyone, and also the discussion we have with some questions, very nice and very important for the referees in the future in officiating. Thanks very much, and we hope to have your assistance when needed.
Okay.
No, appreciate your help.
Thank you.
Thank you again. So see you next June 10 in the next Talking About Rules Technical Officials Conference.